Hello, everyone. This is week number 30 of my 52-week challenge to do a live stream every single week on LinkedIn. I'm here with an international guest. I have Promise Bernard Augustine all the way from Nigeria. How are you doing today, Promise?
Hi, Steven. Hi, everyone. I'm doing great today. It's 8 p.m. here in Nigeria. I feel awesome, and I hope that all of us out here we feel good. Thanks for having me, Steven.
Yeah, no, thanks for joining my live stream here. It's always a challenge, or I'm gonna call it. It's always interesting scheduling these times with the international guest. I learned something about time zones, and then there's also like daylight savings that doesn't quite follow what we do here in the U.S. But I had a little fear that we're gonna be a whole hour off, but no, everything worked out here.
Yeah, I mean, it gets quite scary and interesting at the same time. Like right about the time while you guys over there are sleeping, we are busy working ourselves at work, and while we are sleeping, it's fun. It's interesting to know how the universe connects all of us. It's a dynamic world, Stephen, and I'm glad we are able to navigate and adapt properly to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if you're watching, comment where you're from. It's always good to see an international audience here with the live streams. This is a little earlier than what I'm used to, but Promise is about 8 hours ahead of me here, so we found a good time. Yeah, before we get into our topic on self-development and freelancing, do you want to introduce yourself, Promise?
Okay. Yeah. My name is Promise Augustine Bernard. Like you said earlier, I'm a web design freelancer. I also do copywriting on the side and UI UX as well. Over the last couple of years, I've been able to kind of like dive deep into the world of freelancing and self development as a whole, in the whole sense of it. And yeah, I've worked with international clients from the US, all over the world, and I just hope it gets better. And yeah, that's all about me in a nutshell, Steve. Not really much about me.
No, that's thanks for sharing. And I'm really interested about the freelancing piece. I've done my side hustle as a career coach and public speaker, and I think a lot of people, especially with the pandemic, are trying to figure out how to build up a side hustle, how to freelance and do all these other things. But first, let's talk about self development. Let's see here. We got a comment. I can't see who this is from, but hey, hello back to you. Yeah, let's start talking about self-development. Promise, I want to get your thoughts on this. Why is self-development important?
Okay. I would like to start off this way. A very good example that we can both relate with. Now, starting off this stream, you made mention of the time zones, right? You made mention of our time zones. And imagine, Steve, that you had no prior knowledge. Imagine you weren't doing these live streams. You wouldn't have learned a whole lot, know how to adapt. And this skill alone right now, knowing how to schedule meetings with your international clients, it's already self-development. And I'll say the importance is, as humans, if we truly, truly want to navigate and make the most of ourselves in this world, right? It is very, very vital. That's just how I'll put it. It is as vital as the air we breathe. You can't just remain stagnant. I mean, the world is moving and moving at a very, very astronomical speed, very, very insanely fast, if I may put it that way. And so it is only normal and wise, right, that we also adapt to it. And that's what self-development entails, kind of adapting to the time, pushing yourself beyond your current normal. Always try to be as uncomfortable as you can get. And that brings out your survival abilities as humans. So it is very important to our daily lives.
Wow, that was very inspirational there, Promise.
Thank you.
And you made really great points. The world it's always changing, right? So if you're stagnant, you're falling behind. You're falling behind the trends. You're falling behind the industry. You're falling behind in terms of your skill set, and you're just falling behind others. So it's always great to continue to grow, continue to build up skills. We're going to talk about freelancing. You do the website development, you do some copywriting. Those are some important skills that are really help you grow as a person and keep you employed and keep your life going.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, like, again, I would say, or I would tell my close friends or my associate that we can't just keep doing things as yesterday. We always have to live. We don't live in yesterday. We don't live for yesterday, we live for tomorrow. And so we have to grow and outgrow our current selves. Steve.
Yep. Yeah, definitely have to be prepared for tomorrow. I want to highlight a couple comments here. Just want to say hi to Philip Davis. Happy Friday. Happy weekend to you. Philip is doing he's doing a weekly LinkedIn Live challenge as well. I was on his guest last week as week number 9, and he's just continuing to grow. He's new to this live stream, but I mean he's doing awesome. I really love his energy there. And
Wow.
the mystery user we had is Lenny Nikolai. She was on my live stream earlier in the year. I think she was one of my first international guests, and that's when I realized she's based out of Europe. That's when I realized that the time, the daylight savings time, was different in the U.S. and in Europe. But good to see you here, Lenny. And then Rod, good to see you. Really appreciate the check-in. Rod messaged me earlier in the week. He said, "Hey, I haven't seen you post a lot on LinkedIn. Is everything all right?" But no, I'm just taking a little break. I'm still doing my live stream. So, Rod, appreciate your support and caring there. So, continuing on to our topic here, what are different ways that you can develop yourself and make sure you're not falling behind and not getting stagnant?
All right. Thanks for the question, Steve. I think one of the very ways the very first step, right, like I learned as well, is to actually identify that you need development, right? Or you can't solve a problem when you don't accept you have one, right? So it is very paramount. You give yourself, you kind of have a self-appraisal talk. If it's in your career, what are the trends? Where is it going? Figure out yourself. I mean, we all know, we all have this ability to tell ourselves the truth. So the very first key aspect to this whole self-development thing is knowing and accepting that you need to grow. Now, after acceptance comes findings. I know I need to grow. I know I need to move from point A to point B. How do I navigate the obstacle? Because, Steve, there will always be. Now, there's this good book I read some times back, and he said that the world we live in will always, I don't know if everybody may agree, but I kind of consent to it, will always give you negative energy. A good example is Steve. You use you're in the US, and I'm sure you guys you use the dollar currency. Now, if I should give you $1, a dollar will always still remain a dollar, right? Whether even if you squeeze it or you allow it open, it will still remain a dollar. So now the one thing, basically, what I'm trying to say is, you can't expect other people to give value to you. You have to be value for yourself. You have to create value for yourself. You have to realize that for you to be important to the next person, I have to bring value. And if as a career, for example, the tech industry, maybe 10 years back, we were using XML and all of those weird things. I actually haven't, I didn't start back then, right? And then imagine someone who still uses those technologies till this day. No improvement, no movement. So you have to realize, you have to make findings. What ways? This is moving south. How are they moving south? Right? And then finally, it just comes down to putting in work. So it's a 3-stage thing for me, at least how it has worked for me. Self-appraisal, open talk with myself, findings, and then I get to work. I get to work on myself daily, constantly. It is something that should not be optional. I'm having a problem. I'm 10 years back in my career. I need to go forward. What are the guys doing? What are the other guys doing? What are they putting hands on? What is the latest technologies? Where is everybody moving to? Where's the world moving to? And then I start making these findings. How do I get there? That's where work comes in. So if you ask me, a 3-stage step, acceptance of the problem, constant findings, finding solutions, and then putting in work to bring yourself out of your former self, if I may say so.
Yeah, I really like your 3-step process there, and I just want to reiterate that to the audience. First one is to accept, you need to grow, and I mean, if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to grow, then I mean, then what's the point, right? If you're happy where you are and just want to relax and chill, okay, that's you, right? And if you just don't have that extra motivation to do it, then you're just gonna get stuck. And then the second part you said, create the action plan. Yeah, it might seem like a daunting goal, right? It's like, oh, I want to get better at WordPress. I want to, learn how to do copywriting. For me, I want to learn new languages. Well, how do I do that? You just break it down into smaller goals, right? It's a very, these goals are very challenging and very lofty to achieve, but just break it down into smaller goals, and every single week or every single month, just come back and reassess it. Hey, did I make progress? Am I better than last month? Am I better than 2 weeks ago? And just progress that. And then the third point you made was you got to put in the work. And absolutely, right? Other people can provide you resources. Other people can give you guidance, but it's up to you. It's up to you to study. It's up to you to read. It's up to you to learn. It's up to you to reach out to specific people to help you with the next step. So you got to put in the work to achieve what you want to do, right? And you just can't rely on others just spoon feeding you to give you the information.
Great. I appreciate the fact that you broke down the processes, and it's just exactly my point. I mean, now imagine this, Steve, again. Footballers, you call them soccer players over in the US, right? They train 6 days a week just to play for 90 minutes. That should sink in as to why you need to put in the work. I mean, it's very okay. You spot a raw talent. I kick soccer. I can play. Oh, I'm the next Messi. It's not just enough saying it. You gotta go hard on it, right? I want this. I want to go in on this. Now I have the action plan, the master plan. Put in work, Steve. Yes, that's what I would say. Thanks for actually expatiating as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of a couple comments here. Subaru, great to see you here. And yeah, appreciate your support on the great topic, and couldn't do this without my guest here, promise. And then Tosin was one of my guests. He's based out of Africa as well, so good to see you here, and glad to have your support as well.
All right, thanks. I mean, okay. Sorry, I also
go ahead.
Thanks, guys. The Subaru is a friend of mine as well. Tosin is a very great acquaintance of mine, based in Nigeria as well. So thanks, guys. I mean. It's great what Steven is putting on, and I'm happy he's able to touch lives. And that's the fun of social media, right? Getting to places where physically we might not have gotten to. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I actually got a comment here from YouTube. So got someone else supporting you from supporting us from Nigeria as well. So hey, great to see this large international audience, and I appreciate you having you on here, promise. So yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it's awesome. I'm super excited, not just from the Nigerian folks. I mean, the folks around the world. You got Lenny, you got Rod, and all of those people. It's awesome, and for me to be able to share my own little knowledge, because I don't know much. I'm just sharing what I feel will help the next person, and that's the point of the topic: self-development. How can you be of help to the next person? Right. So I'm glad I'm here. Thanks, Steve, once again. I really, really appreciate you having me on your platform.
Yeah, and I can't do this without you. So again, I'll turn the thanks back to you. Another comment here from YouTube. So great job so far. So now let's transition to the other topic we have about freelancing. So for everyone out there who we're talking about earlier about the pandemic and people trying to find side hustles and other opportunities to get a job. What are some examples of freelance opportunities out there?
Great question. I mean, the past couple of months, over a year now, I've really, really shown the world that we are vulnerable. Permit me to use that word, right? It's been a very tough and challenging period for us all over, and with this situation. I think the rise in freelance opportunities increased astronomically, right? We went from maybe say 30% up to 70%, and all of that. And the truth is, remote work or freelancing, let me say so, is fun, right? Imagine I could just stay at home. I don't need to have physical contact with my employees. With my employers and all of those things, and just make a living by the side. And the good thing is you can actually combine all of these skills together to actually earn for yourself, right? So if you are asking me for opportunities, of course, the very first place I would recommend a newbie is on the freelance marketplaces, companies such as Fiverr.com, Upwork.com, Guru, Freelancer, People Per Hour. There are a whole lot of these platforms where one can actually develop himself or herself and then make money from the side as well. So yes, there are a whole lot of opportunities. Remote work as well. I mean, company in the US employing experts and professionals from all around the world makes the place globally and internationally feel different culture. We learn about each other, brings the world together in one small piece.
Yeah, and I think freelancing helps both parties, right? The freelancer themselves, as well as the person or the people looking for freelancers to help. And for you, from the freelancer point of view, you mentioned that you got the flexibility, right? You can work the hours you want, you get the work that comes in, and I really like what you said. You get to work with people from all over. Earlier, you're talking about you're helping with website development for people in the U.S. and you're based out of Nigeria. And I think
Yeah.
with the ability to do remote work, it's just I mean, you could just literally connect with anyone. And yeah, thanks for sharing the different resources there. I think a lot of people are familiar with Fiverr. There's a lot of different websites that you mentioned as well. And on the flip side, for people who are just so busy with their work and just who just just they're just tasks that they need to get done, but they just haven't had the time to. I mean, reach out to freelancers is a great idea. Building websites, doing copywriting. For me, I'm a couple of weeks behind in editing my live stream, so that's something I could freelance out if I wanted to as well. And just kind of from my perspective, just hey, okay, I'm busy with my work and I need help with let me go reach out to a freelancer. How do you discern between a person who's good at their job as a freelancer who's not so good? How do you make that differentiation when you're on Fiverr or on these other websites?
Okay, because being a freelancer myself, right, I've had to collaborate with other freelancers and outsource some jobs as well. Because now the mindset I always encourage people who come to me about freelancing to carry is that you actually grow from a freelance, is a lone freelance person to actually getting a team involved and maybe building a company and all of that, right? So now, if as for me, I want to hire, let's say I have my LinkedIn live video to edit, and I need to hire a video editor, for example. Now, the very first thing a very good freelancer would always have is a portfolio of works. Now, this must not be work for clients. That this is where self-development comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how it's being tied and intertwined, right? You don't need to work for clients if you are a newbie. You don't need to have a ton of client base, right? What projects, personal projects are you working on? For example, I am a video editor. I could have a friend come over, shoot me a 2-3 minute video answering to clients what I provide for them and edit that video. That could serve as my portfolio. I'm just giving you samples, right? So the very first thing I look at for in a very good freelancer is what kind of portfolio does he have? Does he even have a portfolio at all? I'm sorry, I'm using the word he. I mean everyone, no matter how you identify, all right? So I'm not just centering on a particular gender. So do they have portfolio of jobs, right? That's the number one thing. Communication, soft skills matter a lot, right? How well has this person communicated his skills to me? It's not all about the hard skill we bring in. Yes, he's going to edit my video, but does he throw suggestions? Hey, I think maybe next time while shooting your video, maybe keep your head this way, face that way. All those subtle points, right? So I'll always keep in mind for freelancer who can actually communicate, who offer help, right? Who offer help and who have a very, very nice portfolio of jobs based off the skill set that they claim. Because until I hire you and see the work you do, it is always going to be a claim, right? So that's my point. Those are the things I actually look at when hiring a freelancer.
Yeah, oh, really, those are really great, excellent points. And I think another thing I want to add is, just like if you want to hire someone to, to build a roof for you or to do some plumbing or electrical work, the cheapest person is not the best value, right? And
Ah,
again, you talk about a promise. Look at their portfolio, right? What have they done in the past? Maybe you get recommendations from someone, and then also how is their communication? So if they're the cheapest and you're like, oh, here, help me with this, and then 2 weeks later you don't hear anything, any response, you don't hear anything from them, then I mean, it's just terrible communication. And I think it's just with the freelance work, it's you have to have a certain standard, and you have to make sure that person meets that standard, and you have that clear communication throughout. Highlight a couple comments here. Yes, thank you so much, Rod. Really appreciate the support again.
that's
And
right.
then, yeah, good friend here, Tosin. So far so good with the great discussion. And back to the topic here. How do you get started with freelancing? So if I say, hey, if I have some skills, I can do some video editing, I can do some Photoshop, whatever. How do I get started? How do I do that?
All right. So for this part now, I'm actually going to reference my own personal coach because, of course, we are all learning, right? Um, Now, what my coach and friend Olamide would always say is, be your first client, and it boils down to what I made mention earlier. Hire yourself. Start
Mm.
working on your portfolio, right? That's the very first thing. If I would tell you, go on this place, you have the skill, right? Go here and start list your skills and wait for clients. No, that would be wrong of me. At least that's not how I started. Build projects, because it's going to be very hard to break in. I mean, for example, if a newbie comes and stands side by side with me, and maybe you as a client, you are always going to be tempted to hire me with more experience, right? And so, what's the number one barrier breaker for a newbie? Building portfolios, portfolio of project based off the skill you want to offer. So that's number one. Number two, learn. And that's why I would always refer to self development. I'm sorry, I keep going back to that point. It's actually like a sacred word for me. I take it that serious. Actually, I take it that serious. Learn. What are you learning? Now you are going to, let's say you pick a platform like Upwork. How do you structure your profile? How do you write a very good profile that highlights all the important skills necessary for you to have success on the platform? Right? What's your pricing? How do you price your projects? You don't want to undervalue yourself or overprice yourself, right? So this is kind of like, you build, now you have the portfolio, then you learn how to present this portfolio of jobs, and then from there, I'm very, very sure it will just click. Like, there's no magic about it. You can't skip any process. You can't start from A and take the next leap to letter D. No, you have to follow the ABC of freelancing. And so it goes from hiring yourself, understand the core principles of any platform you eventually pick to work on, and then continue reiterating and repeating the process. It's a long process, but it's a very rewarding career path. Trust me. I know what I've been able to accomplish with freelancing. I know brands I've been able to work with both internationally and locally. I mean, I'm not physically based in the US, but I've had impacts in the US with small businesses that have helped. And it's something that is fulfilling. I mean, you could see somebody telling, oh, thanks, Promise, because you did this. Because I took time to learn a skill or develop myself, someone else is having the impact. And that, in a way, translates to the clients of that person, which goes round and revolves around humanity. So you see, it's a ripple effect. If you don't develop yourself, you are depriving someone of your value, right? So it's very important, Steve.
Yeah, I really like how you break things down. You have a three-step process for everything. But yeah, that's the first point you made. Hire yourself. So if you're a website developer, if you don't even have your own website, why would I hire you, right?
Wow.
And then for me, as a career coach, and I'm telling people, I can help you with your LinkedIn, they're going to go look at my LinkedIn and see, hey, does he have an exciting profile? Does he have an optimized profile? And if my LinkedIn profile is blank and I'm telling you I can help you with your LinkedIn profile, like it just doesn't work out, right? Like, definitely agree with you. Hire yourself as your first client, and that's how you build that portfolio. And I mean, yeah, you just made some great, excellent points there. And you just always have to be learning, always have to be growing, and that's how you stand out compared to other. There's a lot of people doing freelancing, but you want to be able to stand out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, now the goal is not actually, you are not, I wouldn't advise any new person to actually start out with the money, right? Money should not be your very first goal, right? Your very first goal is to provide value, right? Once you provide value, money will come. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Once you carry value, you would always be sought after. And by the time you jump guns and you go for money, oh, I want to make money, it's either you are overpricing yourself, it's either you're accepting jobs you shouldn't be accepting, undervaluing your, it's a whole lot of things. And I would advise one very great tip. I would advise any person on this live LinkedIn video is to actually get a freelance career coach. So, like, get a mentor, someone who has done something you want to emulate, right? There's no harm in copying. I mean, why create a path when there's already a successful guy, right? So emulate someone, look for someone that inspires you in that said industry. If you want to start out with UI UX, look for UI UX designer who are freelancing and are making it very, very wonderfully, right? And so it's key that you have someone. Like for myself, I have people, I have very, very, very people that are accessible, and I get to sit under their tutelage and listen to them talk, advise me on things to do and all. So it's a very great addition. You need a freelance mentor or a career coach, so to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't try to. Yeah, you don't have to figure things out on your own. There's a lot of people who've gone through the same path who have a lot of lessons learned that you can learn from. So as we wrap up here, just want to highlight a couple comments here. We got a professor. I'm glad I'm talking to a professor right now here, Professor Bernard. But no, thank you for your support here, Chukudi. And then, yep, I really like that quote there, Promise, that you said, if you don't develop yourself, you're depriving others of value. So you're not just depriving yourself. You have skills, you have experiences that you can share and help others. And if you don't develop those, you won't be able to help others. And as we wrap up here, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, Promise, for being on my live stream here, talking about self-development and freelancing. This is his LinkedIn profile. Make sure you connect with them. But I want to give you the floor. Just give you a plug. How can you help others? What's the best way for people to reach out to you? You can help them with website development and other things. So I just want to give you the floor to allow you to do some self promotion.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Steve. As you all might have heard or seen from the beginning, I actually build websites. I work with both small businesses and brands that are trying to grow their income. Now, the internet is a very, very, very important tool, and I feel we are neglecting it, right? So I offer web design services, UI, UX designs as well, and copywriting on the side too. Now, this you may be wondering, how would they help your business, your local business, you're a career coach, you are whatsoever, right? But I strictly work with small businesses that are aiming to grow, because I feel more fulfilled helping you with your ROI, your return on investment, and growing your revenue. So if you want to reach out to me, let's discuss about your project. Of course, LinkedIn is my very, very first profile. I am very active on LinkedIn. And Facebook as well is pretty much the same name everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, I'm not really active on those. Facebook, LinkedIn especially. I'm looking forward to connecting with you, and I'm very, very sure if we put ideas together, we'll come up with an awesome brand for you as well. And I also freelance through my company. I'm actually the CEO of Diggs Media as well. Right, so you could come through Diggs Media as well. So it's really going to be wonderful, and I promise you a very, very professional service. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So make sure to connect with Promise here. Reach out to him if you need help just developing a website for either yourself or your business or anything. So definitely reach out to Promise here. So yeah, again, thank you so much for joining me here. Always exciting to have an international guest. And yeah, I just want to say thank you again for your time here.
Thank you very much, Steve. And just a quick tip, right? For those looking to improve on themselves, there's a very big platform, and I think I call it the world best university, and that's YouTube. please maximize the hell out of YouTube, if I may say so, right? There are a whole lot of value going down there. Keep being amazing. We all can go through with our goals. No matter what you're going through, remember you are awesome and unique in your own way, just like Steve is. Very glad, and I was happy to be on here with him. Thank you, Steve. Thanks everyone for joining, and I really very much appreciate you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. A lot of great comments here. A lot of people from Nigeria joining, so I really appreciate that support from my international audience here. And again, thank you so much, Promise. And yeah, definitely reach out to Promise. Again, if you're just looking to get started in freelancing, or if you need a website for your personal or your small business. So thank you so much, Promise. Have a great week, everyone, or have a great weekend, everyone. And I'll talk to you all next week.
Yeah. Bye.